Welcome back to another episode of Hello Ladies, where feminism meets pro wrestling. We're your hostesses with the mostesses. I'm Sabrina,
And I'm MJ.
and we are here to give you our predictions for Elimination Chamber taking place this weekend at varying times, depending on where you happen to live.
I know. I'm gonna have to stay off social. There's no way that I'm gonna watch this thing at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not waking up for 5 a.m. I'll
You
probably
know,
wake up and just immediately watch it, but yeah.
totally. I feel so funny too because I feel like everybody is complaining so much about the start time. And I'm like, listen, do you know how many international wrestling fans have to deal with this crap every time? We sound so entitled, people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. So true. Anytime I have to think about especially the people in England who wind up staying up until forever anyway, to every month. I can do this
Yeah,
once a year, maybe even twice a year.
totally. Or like the Australians, right? Like they're like, ooh, what a treat. We get to watch it at a reasonable time for once.
Right? Yeah. Mind blowing. Um, Before I forget, if you're listening to this, if you could please take and rate the podcast on, if you're listening on Spotify, rate us there. Unless you're going to give us a one, in which case you can forget I said anything about this. But if you like the podcast and aren't spite listening, five,
Mhm.
please.
Yes,
Um,
please.
yes. And
Like, share, subscribe, all the things.
suplex those buttons, dang it.
Ugh. That's not a suplex. That's an elbow drop.
Elbow
Do a
drop your keyboard.
bionic elbow.
That would be so difficult to type with your elbows,
Jeez. Unless you had like a giant keyboard. What if you were just like, ugh, 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 ugh.
right?
It'd be like whack-a-mole all day with your elbows.
My God. You'd have to you'd really need a rolly chair then or something because you'd be running up and down it.
Can you imagine like typing a novel like that?
I'd rather not.
Like one of those like Rock'em Sock'em robots, like yeah, yeah, totally.
Are Rock'em Sock'em robots still a thing? Are they still around? I don't know.
I don't know. They're kind of cool though.
Yeah. Um, Other side tangent that is wrestling related. I'm currently drinking, although it's a little cold now, RJ City's high anxiety coffee from Rootless. Um,
Shout out RJ.
yes, and Rootless because you can get the Danhausen coffee there. I will say, I like the Danhausen coffee a little bit more. I feel like there's cinnamon in that one. I could be wrong.
Mm.
I could be entirely wrong. I could be mixing up with another, but I remember I really liked that one. I like this one, but I liked it. Maybe it's just the evil that comes with the Danhausen one.
Okay. Yeah.
And the ability to curse my enemies, I really enjoy that. Where this one just comes with more anxiety. And I have that in spades, so
Well, shout out Rootless then because it sounds like their coffee does exactly as advertised.
that is correct. All right, so shall we get into the card?
Let's do it.
Do you want to? Well, let's start with a chamber match. Let's start with the men's chamber.
Okay.
So we have Drew versus Randy versus Lashley versus LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Kevin Owens.
You know what I'm thinking? I was looking at the card earlier before we jumped on, and I really feel like, unless I'm totally off my rocker, this whole card seems very predictable to me. Like in general, not just the men's match, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yes and no. The women's is the women's chamber match is the one I'm looking at. And I'm like, I could see this being anyone. Like, I think a lot of people are assuming it's Becky because it's WrestleMania. Um,
Sure.
but any of those women, I'm minus Tiffany Stratton. I think she's gonna do some cool stuff in there. I'm skipping way ahead too. Want to just talk about the women apparently, but
It's okay. We could talk about the women first and then jump back to the men.
yeah. I was not able to come up with who I think was going to win that other than not Tiffany. I think she's going to do like a cool move off of one of the pods
Sure.
specifically, but I don't think she's going to win. Literally any of the other women could.
Hmm.
Like it's so well stacked. I mean, Becky, Bianca, Liv, and Naomi are all former women's champions. Um,
Yeah.
Raquel and Tiffany are former NXT women's champions. Like,
Hmm.
and if it wasn't for the fact that Tiffany just moved up to the main roster, like
Yeah.
there's there's um there's not a weak link in this. Like there's no one who's a filler, I would say.
That,
Um
agreed.
Whereas I feel like every other chamber match, there's always been a filler person. Um,
I feel like this will be the best women's elimination chamber of all time.
yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Just based on like the competitors.
Yeah. I keep going back and forth between Liv and Becky on this one. I do.
Yeah.
I love me some Liv. I just feel like with how much time they've been giving Becky, like on the mic, everything that I'm like, are they making it seem so obvious it's gonna be Becky? Or are they gonna like throw Liv into it? Because Liv and Rhea, I've said this a million times on here, but I loved how they ended last year's Royal Rumble. It was incredible. And I think that would be such a great like pickup spot for them, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. Rhea has history with Bianca,
Yeah.
with Liv, with Naomi, or not Naomi, sorry, with Raquel. Um, like there are stories already built in, which is great.
Sure.
It's just it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Um, the reason I I kind of feel like if they're gonna swerve us in any match, it's gonna be this one.
Yes.
Because Becky can get to WrestleMania without having to face another champion, like a champion. I think it's
Sure.
really possible that she will have a match against maybe something will happen in the chamber and she'll wind up facing one of those ladies. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
I love it. I love that you mentioned too about how there's so many like previously crafted storylines with Rhea with other women in this chamber, because
mhm,
you're absolutely right. And it's crazy how we compare the AEW women's division to the WWE women's division, and how there's like these baked in little storylines that they've done during Rhea's title run, and how I just feel like while I'm really excited for like Deonna Purrazzo and Toni Storm, there's also the Mariah May component. Outside of that, it would have been nice to have other storylines kind of baked into like with Toni Storm, kind of things like that, or even like with Deonna outside of Mariah May, Toni Storm, like just kind of like having not only backup plans in case of injuries, but also just kind of like future storylines that we can pull from later.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, in fairness to AEW in this instance, I think Rhea has been around, well, has been in WWE longer than Toni Storm certainly has been in AEW, so she's had time to build those. But even still, like even taking out that obvious fact, like that factor, AEW drops the ball constantly with not just the women's storytelling, but like that's the one that I feel like it started happening with first. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like they just are like you get like a tease of a match, or like sometimes we'll just have a match for no reason other than like it's a cool match, which is fine to do once in a while. But like if they were to do like an elimination chamber, like what you were saying, like there's Tony Storm wouldn't have these things baked in unless you have like a page in there.
What's crazy is that Rhea hasn't even been champion for a year, and that all of these like subtle storylines have been kind of like sprinkled in throughout that time. Like even with Raquel and Rhea, something as small as like the backstage glances of, or like, and like the walking by, like with the dirty look kind of thing, and like the sizing each other up.
And I
And
think
oh, go ahead.
oh they they were tag partners at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. I was thinking about you and I did our episode 2 on like Bianca and Montez, and I've been thinking about that too because there's a fun little like sprinkle in there about like Bianca's like, why didn't Rhea pick me? And so that could there's obviously also like a slight build that's besides that that's been with Bianca and Rhea kind of thrown into the mix too. The only reason I don't think Bianca's gonna win is I think that we're gonna either see Bianca and Jade team up together and take the tag belts at WrestleMania from the Kabuki Warriors, or I think we're gonna see them square off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we all know Bianca's going to WrestleMania considering she made it onto the poster. Uh,
Oh my God, I know.
that'd be really weird. So Bianca's going to WrestleMania in one way, which I think is probably also maybe another swerve for people being like, oh well, this is in the bag for Bianca. She was already on the dang poster. I don't know why
Sure.
people are talking like that, but sometimes wrestling fans are PG, usually the small children.
Or the people who act like small.
People who act like small children usually have like potty mouths, let's be real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I'm split too. I know, I
yeah.
know, I know.
Although, you know what? We make these rules. We don't have to pick someone.
You can't make us.
Um, yeah. That's that's what I've, and I mean also with Naomi, and you have like 3 returns and a call up in this match. Like that's insane to think about. Like
Yeah,
Liv Morgan returning Naomi and Raquel. And I mean, yeah, we've seen all of them a little bit wrestle now, but this is like their first, not counting the Royal Rumble, big match back. And I'm just so excited to see what all these women are going to do.
oh, I can't wait. And I kind of don't want Becky to win because I like the kind of arc they're building with Becky in terms of like this like I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna go back twice as hard. And I almost feel like when she's getting knocked down like a peg or two with these losses, I feel like it's only kind of elevating that storyline more of like, I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna be better than ever. And so I feel like that's the nice thing that if Becky loses, it only adds to that story and it doesn't take away anything from her.
Yes, agree. Um, and that's the thing, like her losing in this match won't hurt her. I don't think any of them losing is going to hurt anyone unless
True.
like it's unless it's a really like bad loss. Like the the pod opens and then they're just like beaten half to death. Like
Yeah. I think you're right. I think everyone's going to come out looking really good. I love Liv and I'm hoping for a Liv win on this one. That's what I'll say. But I love all of the women in this
yeah.
match. That's what makes it so hard.
Yeah, I will say because I think regardless, Becky and Bianca are going to go to WrestleMania in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
I would love to see Liv, Naomi, or Raquel win this match. I don't think, yeah, I don't think it's going to be Raquel. I'll say I think it's going to be either Liv or Naomi who win. Yeah, that's that's what I'm going to say. Maybe that was like a hook to get Naomi back. Like, well, how are you feeling about being in the title picture at WrestleMania?
Hey kid, you wanna be at WrestleMania?
Come on, kid,
um,
you'll be a star.
I think that yeah, I think that would be badass if it was Naomi because I feel like that would be so cool to showcase her on that level. I mean, put some respect on her name. Like she was just literally the TNA Women's Champion before all of this. And I definitely want her to get that spotlight that she deserves, that glow that she so deserves.
Yes, yes. Also, I'm dying to see her entrance at WrestleMania.
As long as the cameraman doesn't fuck it up, that made me so mad at Royal Rumble. I'm still standing on 10 toes down with that.
100%. Also, I will be there live, so it won't matter what the cameraman does. I will see it with my eyeballs.
There you go. That's true.
But yeah, I have always loved like being in attendance for Naomi's entrances because like all of the energy, all of the feels. Like I just, oh, it's like a contact high all of a sudden off of energy.
She's
Um,
she's the best.
yes, I love it. If no one's gathered this yet, I love her and I'm so happy she's back, making all of the big bucks.
Yes, she deserves it.
She does. Um, and I also I realized I didn't list Tiffany Stratton as someone who I want to see when it was just because she was just called up. Like that's the only reason. I like her. I think she'll be great at next year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That would be what a swerve that would be though, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. My God. Yeah.
I think it's tippy time, but it's not tippy time right now.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Hmm.
What match should we talk about the men's? Since we were like, let's talk about the men's, and then it's like, get aside, men. We're talking about the ladies.
Yes, let's jump back to the guys. I feel like this one's cut and dry for me, but I'm curious what you think.
I think it's because I mean they're going to be facing Seth Rollins. I think it's going to be Drew.
Agreed.
Like,
Agreed. But
um,
I think there's going to be some fun spots in this match for
oh
sure, you
yeah,
know. I do like that they have Logan Paul in this match for that reason as well.
same. I was gonna say like as much as I don't like him as a person, I'm excited to see what that psychopath is gonna do in that match.
Yeah. He's fun. I mean, I'm the first person to say I'm not a fan of him as a person, but I'll watch him in the ring any day.
Yeah. Um, I feel like yeah, I mean they're all like again, these are all strong competitors. And I feel like Lashley, I feel like he's been in a lot of Elimination Chamber matches, but maybe not. Maybe he's I feel like I've seen him in a bunch, but maybe not. He seems like a veteran of it. So I imagine like he's a good pair of hands in there or whatever it is. Um,
Yeah.
steady pair. I don't know what the saying is, but yeah,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
yeah, Drew in all of his shirts. I
Oh my God. I want that. I love CM Punk so much and I want that fucking Drew shirt with the grave on
it,
it.
it's so good. It is so good. I love this version of Drew. Like, yes,
Hmm.
please. And I always love when like also his I love how he just works his cat into some of his videos. Like there's no reason for him to like for the video to show him going over and petting his cat and then doing his arm workout.
Yeah.
But
I love the fact that he's playing such a good heel and still incorporates the cat in these videos. I think that's adorable.
yeah. Oh, it's just brilliant work.
Hmm.
It reminds me a lot of and I've said basically anytime that there's a heel that I really, really like, I find that they often give me Triple H vibes because those are the kind of heels that I like the sarcastic ones, almost a tweener, except like it's a bit too evil to be tweeny. Um,
Yeah.
but like there's that sharpness to what they're saying. Love it. Love it.
I feel, I feel what you're saying.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you hear Cheddar snoring, but I apologize if you do.
No, I can't. Okay, is Kevin Owens in this match? I can't remember.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay. So I mean, even that's gonna be fun because I feel like because we saw Kevin Owens lose against Logan Paul so recently that Kevin's gonna get the pin on Logan because it's kind of gonna be like a I'm not gonna say like a receipts, but it's gonna be like that, like, okay, you beat me, I beat you, like to still like maintain that like
Yeah.
yeah, that level essentially, yeah.
Do you think then they'll go on to have a match at WrestleMania where KO will beat Logan Paul?
You know, I keep wondering where excuse me, I keep wondering where LA Knight is going to fit into this match. Like, I think that there's going to be a little like scrum between Logan and LA Knight that's going to build towards LA Knight versus Logan Paul, and then I think LA Knight's going to get the belt at Mania.
That would also be very good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the common theme here that Logan Paul's going to get the stuffing beat out of him. That's a
Yep.
That's a good theme.
Like I feel like this will kind of close the book on KO and Logan because it's like, okay, like I got like I still maintained, I showed what I got, and like now that's closed. I beat this punk. And now
Mhm.
passed it on to somebody else's turn.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Um, so who do you think is winning, Rhea or Nia Jax?
Oh, it's gotta be Rhea.
Yeah.
You know, did you see that promo between the two of them?
Yes.
I kind of wish that like because I think it makes more sense, it's so obvious to me that Rhea is gonna win, that I feel like I would have liked to see Nia kind of like end that promo with her kind of having the upper hand and then Rhea kind of being like kind of what, you know, to kind of like I don't know. That was just my I thought it was fun to watch the promo, but I still would have liked Nia to kind of have the last word during that because I feel like then it kind of would have been like at least a little more, I don't want to say mysterious, but I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Uh, a little more not so obvious, although Nia has been they've been doing well with the whole like Nia keeps getting the drop literally on Rhea. Um,
Yeah.
but I kind of wonder if this is going to be the main event just because like of where it's at. And
Yes.
again, Rhea is the most followed athlete in Australia. Like, so it would make sense to me because of that and because like it's Rhea Ripley if this was the
I think I'm gonna cry. I think I'm gonna honestly cry when like Rhea plays is does such a great job of staying in character, but she's also really good to show her human side at this, you know. I just feel like if I was Rhea Ripley, I don't know how I would not just have fucking tears down my face, you know? Like, I don't know.
like a
I
Zelina
think
Vega moment.
you took the words right out of my flame rain. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking the same thing, just how Zelina just soaked in that moment and just like let the tears go and just I could see something like that for Rhea as well.
Oh yeah. I want to see what her entrance is gonna be like as
Oh my, yeah.
a bunch of kangaroos just jump down to the ring.
Oh my God. What if it's like kangaroos with mullets and they're just carrying her down the ramp, you know?
Oh, see, I pictured like with little Dominic Mysterio dolls in their pouches.
Little Dom Joeys.
Yeah. Little baby
Oh God,
Joey's with the mullet on.
that's so good.
So good. Probably highly offensive to Australians.
There's a lot of yeah, there's a lot of cross-cultural something going on here. Inappropriate is going on here.
To be fair, we make fun of America a lot too, so
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna pretend that that makes it all right. It doesn't, but meh. All right, so we both have Rhea for that one.
Yes.
Then we have Judgment Day versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I can't remember what they're calling themselves, like British Strong Style as a group, or I don't even know. They're calling themselves something, but
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right.
yeah,
It sounds horrible, but I know it was British something and I can't think of the second word.
yeah. Um, I'm just really excited that Pete Dunne has this match.
Yeah.
I don't care too much about anything else. I'm just really happy that he has this match.
I know. I'm always like wondering when I see a card that I feel like there's going to be no like title changes or anything like that, then I'm always kind of like, what's going to happen big? That is what makes me wonder. Like, is there going to be a surprise during the women's chamber match? Because it seems like everything else is kind of like cookie cutter, but you know, I don't know. You never know.
Yeah. That being said, so who do you have winning this one?
I think it's going to be the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I think they're going into WrestleMania as champs.
Totally.
I'll get to see my snack in the bank in some sort of tag team match that evening. One of them.
Are you are you making a snack in the bank sign?
I should. I should.
You you so should.
I have a lot of glitter too. I definitely have purple glitter. I can really like go for it.
Senor snack in the bank.
Yes. Maybe I will do that.
How close are you, or where are you? How whereabouts are you?
So, I think both nights I'm roughly in the same area. Saturday we're a little closer to the ring, but we're um on the upper level, but the first upper level, not like the nosebleeds. Um,
Yeah,
not camera side. So, was not paying whatever they were asking for that. Um,
sure.
so yeah, like I think by like probably be able to look down onto the one ring post,
Hmm.
the one that is further from the entrance. Like we don't go past that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not good at explaining things that are in my head sometimes.
No, you're good. I get so confused when I'm like getting ready to purchase tickets anytime because I have to stop and think like, okay, like this is where this is. Yeah. And I, especially now that I've gone to more AEW shows, I know where I don't want to sit anymore, you know?
Yeah, yeah. AEW shows like depending on where they're at can be wild because like WWE won't sell some of the tickets
Yeah.
that are like the view is complete shit. AEW will still sell those tickets. So, I have learned at least in Arthur Ashe Stadium. So,
At the United Center, we sat up kind of like the second level, but we were kind of like facing the entrance ramp, and that wasn't too bad. I just think that I would have liked to be like like have that same view. One section down would have been a little bit better.
mm, that makes sense.
The guys I was with loved it though, because they could actually just let their phone sit on the edge and it would just they didn't have to hold it the whole time. It was just filming for their vlog. And I was like, well, I mean, they love it.
Yeah, yeah, there is that. I'd be so nervous I'd accidentally knock the phone down.
Oh my God. Yeah, I would have been too.
Yeah. Um, so there is one other thing happening that night, and it's Cody and Seth are going to be guests on the Grayson Waller effect.
I saw that.
What kind of shenanigans do you think shall be happening there?
I don't know. I don't know. I saw that meme get shared where it was like, you can trust me, Cody, or whatever. And it was like the same energy of like Shield kind of era.
Oh,
Rollins turned on Roman, and I'm like, I don't know. That would be so interesting.
well, since Grayson Waller is so known for like bringing out people, I wonder if like he's gonna bring somebody out there.
Oh, you thinking The Rock?
Maybe. I think like especially because they like everyone's been like, "Brr, there's not going to be any of the big people at Perth. Bird, bird, burr." It would be a really good opportunity to either have The Rock or Roman there.
It would. Oh my God. And it'd be one of those things where I feel like people would be like, The Rock is this, The Rock is that, ooh. And then he'd come out and they'd be like, The Rock's here. It's like, what were you saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I feel like with all of this. It's like, it's kind of funny because what months ago we were all like saying how great it'd be if The Rock came back, this and that. And like so many people were saying, not us, but other people were just like, man, it'd be awesome to have The Rock back. People have been saying that for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like he comes back and then people are just pissed about it. It's like you like the fickleness of wrestling fans. Like you said that like Brian Danielson said before. I think about that all the time. Even like I was driving last night and I thought about like the Cody Crybabies thing and how now like I've said that before too, where I'm like I'm a proud Cody Crybaby, but it's also like The Rock still was the brain behind the creation of that, you know? So I just laugh at the irony of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing that I always think about, like, because when people the with The Rock specifically in like, well, people wanted him for forever. Like they've been begging for this match between him and Roman. It's like, but it matters when the match happens. We wanted
Yeah,
that in 2011. Maybe not, wow, not 2011. What
2021.
year is it? Yeah. Uh 20 or maybe even then, I don't know. 22, like basically since the head of the table tribal chief thing started.
Sure.
But there was such a huge shift after Cody didn't finish the story, and then like such a swell of ground support. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it,
I definitely I agree with what you're saying totally. I think for me, I think about like ever since The Rock left WWE, people have been wanting him to come back like consistently. But I totally agree about the timing. I just think it's funny how people are just so quick to flip.
oh yeah.
You know, it's and wrestling fans are we're all notorious for it. So
I
look
think
at look
you
at me and my hatred of Christian Cage for years. I never liked Christian. And then he came back as a heel in like this whole big thing in AW, and I'm like, okay, I can admit when I'm wrong because this is fucking everything right now.
you just have a turtleneck fetish, and that's okay.
Better than a dinosaur one, I guess.
Yeah. Um, I like you can very easily see like wrestling fans like how quickly I feel like specifically it's when it happens to babies' faces so quickly, like when they finally get a title. Liv is the one that I'm thinking of, like, and then
Sure.
so quickly people turned on her and were like, I'm tired of this title reign. Yeah, it's like it's been 2 months. What what?
Yeah.
And then those are the same people who are like, they don't do long-term storytelling. It's like, well, consistency. I'm asking for consistency out of your mouth.
I remember that was also like the thing that's so frustrating about that title run is that Liv literally became champion right during like the transition of Triple H getting more creative control over Vince too. And then like that whole thing is so frustrating because like Liv fucking pulled so much shit off and she was trying to like go crazier. I remember
Yeah.
like being watching a SmackDown in Salt Lake City. I drove up there just to see SmackDown and Liv just fucking killed it. She's flying off ladders on tables. I was just like, she was really trying to just like really silence the haters, and she did a great job. And it was just one of those things where it's like people just are never going to give this woman her roses. So that's why I want to see her get a second title run.
Yeah. It's funny too. Like, I feel like so many people with wrestling fans, if someone goes away for a little bit and then comes back, like
Mm-hmm.
it's that reset button where people like even if they didn't like them at all before are just like,
Yes. Yeah. What is that? That's like a whole thing. It's so interesting. It's like an effect of like if they're not around for a while, you miss them. I just think that's so interesting.
yeah, it makes sense to me when that happens with heels because sometimes heels are so good at being terrible that you're just like I fucking hate this person da, 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 and they leave and you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't actually hate their wrestling. They were doing their job really well. I want them to come back. I miss all the anger I had."
Well, for me, I'm a big fan of like Drew McIntyre as a heel, but I just can't get behind him as a face. I just can't. And that doesn't have anything to do with me not liking him as a person. I just like so prefer his heel work and like it's so entertaining and interesting to me. So
Hmm.
it's one of those things too that's like I don't know, I see that side of it too. And like it's fun to see Liv now as a heel coming back saying like she's on like the revenge tour. I just thought that's kind of like a fun spin on things.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I love, but that's obviously a bias because I love Liv whether she's a heel or a face. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, there are definitely people that like I like more like either way. I think like it takes a lot for someone to be able to do both well, right?
Yeah,
Um, I'm trying to think of an example of someone that I
CM Punk.
yes. I'm not even quite sure where he was rocking and rolling to go. Like, because he was doing some pretty heelish things, but like, yeah,
I feel like that man lives life as a tweener, so I don't know.
yeah, I agree. I think he like it's so based upon where he's at.
Sure.
Brian Danielson, he's someone I don't like as a heel anymore. Like
Really?
I've never liked him as a heel. his initial thing when he was a heel is like, I am a vegan, made me mad because as a vegetarian, I was like, we don't need this kind of heat as a community. Please stop.
But I mean, before that, he's played the heel too, and he's been pretty damn good at it. But I know what you mean. I cracked up when I saw that. I was like, great, thanks for shitting on us, Brian. Like, we don't need any more help here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I understand it, but I wish you weren't actually a vegan. Like, please stop turning against your own community. Um,
It
but
was so satirical. That yeah, I hear what you're saying.
yeah, but him now, like in AEW specifically, I don't buy him as um a heel
Oh yeah, I
at
know.
at all. Like he's racked up too much goodwill in the world. Like it would be like Tom
Yeah.
Hanks being like, you know, I like to be bad sometimes.
Well, wasn't Tom Hanks on that Epstein flight log multiple times? So I don't know about that Tom Hanks example anymore.
Okay. Who 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 is someone? Uh Viola Davis. I really like
Oh,
her.
yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh God, what a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I know what you're saying. Yeah. But see, that's the thing is like Blackpool Combat Club. I can't take anybody except John Moxley in that faction serious as a heel, especially not Claudio. There's so many pictures where Claudio's in the background just smiling. And I'm like, I want to hug this man. Like he seems like the sweetest soul on the planet. I will never ever think.
Mm-hmm.
Now remembering what he just said about Renee, he was like your wife's glutes or whatever. That was the funniest shit that I've ever heard. Like, see, he's just too like the fact that Mox held that together and didn't like bust out laughing says everything I need to know about John Moxley. That's someone I love as a face and a heel.
Yes. Yeah. I think he's a tweener, 100%, I think. Like it
Sure.
depends on the situation, who he's going against.
Mm-hmm. Ricky
But yeah.
Starks.
Yeah, yeah, I like he's such a funny little heel.
I know, huh?
I say little, even though like he's not a small person, but like he gives me Pinky in the Brain energy sometimes.
Yeah.
That he would just be there like especially in this current tag team. Oh my God, they are Pinky in the Brain.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Well, yep. Can't unsee that now.
Yep. Every time they come out, I hope you just hear that in your head. Pinky and the Brain, Pinky and the Brain.
Oh my, that brings me a lot of joy, Sabrina.
Big Bill. Yeah, it fits. I would say no offense, but I meant what I said.
I know, I know.
I
And
think that,
what did he call Lexi, his fiance, the snack in the back or the smoke? He called her like
no,
not even like a smoke show, he called her the smoke in the back. I was like, oh my God, this man.
yeah. I was like, I can't shit on him for saying the snack in the back if that's what it was. I don't think I would because of me saying that Damian Priest is a snack in the bank. So,
No, I think I see I was giving him too much credit because that was a clever snack in the back.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
But I think that I'm really excited that going back to Elimination Chamber, I'm excited that Perth got a pay-per-view. Like that it just means or PLE, sorry. I'm just seeing like a couple of people on Wrestle Talk, like we have Courtney, we've got that wrestling guy, like people who are in Australia who don't get to enjoy these events, in person. And so it's cool they actually get to go enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. Um, and they don't have to have wake up at weird times to enjoy wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
I think it
We can
was,
suck it up and deal with it, okay, Americans. Y'all, we can all deal with it.
yep. Um, I think it was Court that made a TikTok video about how like she realized that like bucket list moment of like she was going to get to go to a WWE show, like, or like a PLE, and she got a little choked up, and I'm a sympathetic crier, so like I
Uh,
immediately was like, I,
I mean, I really think that that's great that WWE's really like diversifying where they're having these pay-per-views because they have gigantic fan bases everywhere. And so people are gonna fucking go to these things. Like it doesn't matter if they have to drive hundreds of miles or fly, they're gonna get their asses there, you know?
yeah, 100%. And like, I also think about what this is going to do for the wrestling community in Australia, because I imagine that it's probably like WrestleMania week in the States, in that like they're coming there, so like there's probably independent shows happening leading up to, which is really exciting for the wrestlers and wrestling fans in Australia.
Totally. That's true.
um but yeah, I'm just I'm so excited that everyone gets to enjoy wrestling.
Me too. Can't wait.
Um, final thoughts.
Just excited. And I mean, we get two pay-per-views, PLEs, back-to-back weekends. We got Revolution next week. So I'm just,
Mhm.
as a wrestling fan, what a time to be alive.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad they're not in the same weekend. That would have been
Oh,
bad.
God, me too.
They definitely wouldn't have been at the same time.
Sure, sure.
Can you imagine? It's like, all right, everyone, we're gonna wake up at either 3 or 5 a.m. or anywhere in between, and then watch for 5 hours, take a nap, and then we're gonna go ahead and watch AEW's Revolution.
Terrible. No, I'm really grateful that's not a thing right now.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we'll see how right on our predictions were. Imagine if everything was wrong.
Okay, for how predictable this card feels, I would be shocked. There'd be a lot of people losing money in Vegas this weekend if that's the case.
I think if Rhea loses, they might burn the country down. So,
Can you imagine?
I mean, Vince isn't in control of creative anymore, so I don't think that will happen. If Vince was running this show, I would be like, Rhea's losing.
Wow. That's crazy to think about. I think that mommy's so hot right now that it just would be wild. She needs another big WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mommy's always on top, and mommy's so hot. Mommy's so hot, she's on top. Nope, 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 nope,
Hot
nope.
and flexible. Just kidding.
Isn't that Lana? Wasn't that
Yeah.
Lana's thing? Just
I'm
leave it.
just thinking of all these goofy like euphemisms they do in wrestling for women. It's just crazy.
Yeah, yeah. All righty. Well, we will be chatting with you all next week, probably doing reactions and predictions, I guess, for the revolution. Anyone just watching, you can just see like my brain stop there for a second because I literally, like Freddie, stuck my tongue out a little bit. I was like, "Ugh." Just gonna start nubbing you.
Please.
Uh,
Look like you're raising the roof.
the elbows. This episode's all about the elbows.
That's right.
As always, folks, in the name of our Lord and
Lord and
Savior,
Savior
yep,
John
John
Cena.
Cena, hustle,
That's a
loyalty,
loyalty.
and respect.
That's, yeah,
Yabba